survivors, to chemotherapy and radiation, to an exercise regimen. Anne continues to this day. And next week, she's going to get on her bike and, yes, pedal across the country to help other cancer victims become survivors. Anne joins us this morning from New York. Anne, thank you so much for being here this morning. Obviously, love your story. You're just an inspiration to so many people. We're going to talk about your event, but first I want to talk a little bit about where this began, when you were first diagnosed with the same kind of cancer that killed Senator Ted Kennedy in just 16 months. Why do you think you were able to beat this?
It's just pure luck. When I was diagnosed, I was told I was going to die within the year. So it's just luck.
For those who are wondering about their own health, how did the symptoms come about? Did it come about suddenly?
Yes, it came about very suddenly, though we found out later that something had happened 4 months earlier was the signal. I had a terrible smell, and I smelled something really god-awful ugly that if I had really paid attention, maybe I would have gone to a doctor. But it's hard to take one smell that lasts 2 seconds that seriously. Then 4 months later, I started slurring my words, and within the week, it looked like I was having a stroke, and I was rushed to hospital.
You were rushed to the hospital,
yeah.
And clearly this was surprising to you and your family, because this is the kind of cancer that anyone is susceptible to, that family history doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I'm the first person in my very large family to have cancer.
And for 2.5 years, you actually you underwent chemotherapy, radiation, and at the same time, what was really quite remarkable is that you started this strenuous training program. Tell us what motivated you. Why did you decide that you were going to start biking and running? And how did you find the strength, even the energy to do all this, to run, yoga, bike?
Well, I wanted to set a really good example for my kids, and I also want to give it my best shot to survive. And I felt the stronger I was, the better chance I would have. And also, I felt really good when I exercised. Even when I didn't, even when I cried through it, it was very cathartic.
And now you're going to start this 3-month journey to bike across the country, starting in San Francisco, going all the way to Washington, D.C. with your trainer, as well as your dog, Walter?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? How are you training?
Well, I've trained a lot in a hypoxic chamber that takes the oxygen out, so you have to really work harder when you're climbing hills. And I've done a lot of outdoor cycling. I just love it. I feel like a kid again. I know some days will be horrible, but mostly it'll be great.
With your determination, Anne, I think you're probably going to be well on your way. We're going to be watching and following your bike ride across the country, 14 months in remission.
Fantastic.
So congratulations,
Thank you.
Anne. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'll give you a look at some of the stories we're keeping an eye on. 3 car bombs exploding in Baghdad Sunday morning, killing at least 20 people, injuring 55 others. The blasts were carried out by 3 suicide bombers within 5 minutes of each other, all near embassy buildings. They're the 5th coordinated attack since August of '09.
And Pope Benedict celebrates Easter Mass outside St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City. Now, Easter is the holiest day on the Christian calendar, but the ongoing church child abuse scandal has cast a shadow over Roman Catholic commemorations.
And, of course, Easter service is happening all over the country, all over the world. This is at Arlington National Cemetery. Young man serenading the crowd right now. We've been keeping an eye on this sunrise service, started around 6:15 Eastern Time. We'll continue to check in at this service and others around the country.